Hey everyone, I'm Summer, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about authority, alignment, and the parts of ourselves we put often on hold while we are too busy being responsible. This is a part of my Teach Me Something playlist where each conversation is like an invitation to learn something that expands how we feel and how we show up in the world to our people. Today's episode is about creativity, which should not be something that you use only for a hobby, but you should use it as a life force. And especially, we're going to talk about, I think, how women reclaim it after years of silencing, self doubt, and playing small. I don't know about you guys, but I am done playing small. Okay, my guest today is very special. I was just telling her how I love my own energy about her, and that's why she's very special to me. She's Jenny Elinora. She's a creativity coach. She's a vibrational healer. She's an award-winning musician. She helps women reclaim their voices and bring their creative dreams back to life. Jenny's journey tells me that there's no expiration date on expression. She was silenced years ago, earlier on. She didn't fully step into her voice until her 30s. And then she realized that she's ready for a solo. And she released her first solo when she was 50 years old. I know she doesn't look 50, but she says she is. And since then, she's written and produced and performed more than 30 original songs. She's won a Tammie Award for the best Vermont Rock Album. Did I get that right, Jenny?
Yeah.
Well, a blend of somatic practices and vibrational healing and creative coaching and community, Jenny helps women move past perfection, move past fear, and into joy, play, and soulful expression. When I think Jenny Elinora, I think play. So, Jenny, I want to start with a phrase that you use very often. It stood out to me. It's creative champion. It
Mhm.
feels so empowering because I think women see creativity as something optional, something to be used instead of essential. So, what, according to you, is creative champion, and why is that particular identity so important for women to reclaim their voice?
Yeah. So building on the premise, the in my world these days, non-negotiable premise that
Mm-hmm.
once I fulfilled my own solo stuff, it's non-negotiable that I create, therefore I am, and that I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we all, as human beings, are creative beings. So yeah, building on that premise in the context of a culture that tells us, that has told us, like you said before,
Mm-hmm.
creativity is optional. It
Yeah.
comes last, or it's something we do after everything else. And that is a big old lie. So
Mm-hmm.
it's part and parcel. So part and parcel of living is being creative. We're creating our lives every moment of every day. So in order to build the resilience to do that and build the strength and the flexibility, mental and emotional flexibility to do that, we need both to become creative champions for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we need outside support in the form of creative champions. And the hallmarks, I guess, of creative championship
Mm-hmm.
are it's unconditional, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that belief in us of our value as creative beings is absolutely unconditional when we become our own creative champions, and when we have other people and systems become our creative champions.
Mm-hmm.
Unconditional. It's flowy. It allows for growth and change. It doesn't just take us like, oh, this is you and you are here and that is how you are defined. It
Mm-hmm.
allows us to constantly be redefining ourselves as part of the process. And there's one more sort of main basic element to it. What is it? The words aren't coming to my mind. It's something to do with, yeah, it's collaboration, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
spirit, because we're creative beings, that we are, whether our work is collaborating with each other, me and you,
Mm-hmm.
or with the natural world in some way, right? Or just with anything outside of ourselves, and collaborating with all of the parts inside of ourselves. We contain multitudes, right? So there's a collaborative spirit that's again non-negotiable in creative championship.
Yeah, I think, and therefore I am, you said, and it made me smile
I
inside.
create. I
That
create.
is, yes, that I create, and therefore I am.
Yeah.
And that is huge. That's pretty deep. That's something I've been saying sometimes too. Like I say, I think, therefore I am. And you say, you
Mhm.
create, and therefore I am.
Mhm.
And this connects to something that I've observed for several years. So many women, they start out being very creative, very expressive, and then they slowly abandon the part of themselves because life happens, expectations come in,
Yeah.
and responsibilities take over. So,
Mhm.
why do you think so many women just give up on their creative dreams? What have you
Mhm.
seen?
Oh, it's so huge. It's so huge. I mean, it's not just women who do that, who give up on it, but I'd say there's less support for women being freely creative and freely expressive
Mm,
in Western society. And yeah, which is in some ways global society at this point,
mm-hmm.
dominant
Yep, yep.
culture is dominant culture. So yeah,
Mm,
the lack of support for just being ourselves and being weird, being in any way unusual. That's part of it. I think I do remember for myself when I think it hits for women and girls a lot. It hits in pre-adolescence, 11 age 11 12 that
mm-hmm.
age. I
Mm,
remember very, very vividly. I mean, I remember things that sort of stomped down my creativity even before that, like kind of all along in my life. And I did notice, looking back, I noticed that as a girl, got that more often than the boys I saw around me. I got that, more than the boys. But
mm,
I think a lot of girls end up making the choice as we come into adolescence to
mm,
like, well, we want to fit in. It's risky to not fit in, right? So yeah, then I think that's when we start stifling ourselves.
mm.
Very often is when we're around 11 or 12, we start to have those first like real like I'm not going to do this thing anymore,
Ow.
because it's so weird. Yeah.
Mm,
Or because not everybody else is doing it. Um, yeah, and it is like an it hurts
mm, mm,
to think
mm,
about that, and especially for me on the other side of it. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have to be that way. And before I worked with adults around creativity and play, I was teaching a lot of kids for
mm,
decades, and I love the fact that some of them didn't end up like kind of going there. Uh,
mm.
so yeah, well,
I know. Fit
complex.
in or stand out or fit in or I never fit in, Jenny. I never fit in. I celebrate my weird.
Yep,
Can you believe it? I
I
would do
believe it, and I
things.
love it.
Yeah. I never try to do things that other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of me wanted to fit in because, I wanted to be loved by my classmates, by my peers. But on the other hand, I have accepted the fact that I'm a weird person. I
Mm-hmm.
don't fit in. I stand out
Mm-hmm.
and I was rebuked for it.
Yep,
But what the hell? I
yep.
was a rebel. I just stood out.
And here you
Tell
are.
us something about your music.
Oh, my music. Well, that was a reclaiming of my full self, my whole voice,
Mm-hmm.
as I call it.
Mm, mm,
Because I did try to fit in or to mask, as they say. I tried a
mm,
lot.
mm,
But I was very incapable of it in a lot of ways. So there was
mm,
always these like sort of warring parts of me for a while
mm,
from my adolescence, probably into my 30s, is when it started to kind of like pick that, pull that apart and see
mm,
it for what it was and reintegrate. But yeah, when I started to even just sing in public when I was 33, oh,
mm.
like when I
Wow.
to do that, that was it was almost like the universe was putting in front of me the supports, the creative champions that I needed for that, and the
Mm,
opportunities that I needed for
mm,
it. And it was almost inevitable. Like at that point, I couldn't not do it. There was something in me that was bringing opportunities to myself that way, and I
mm,
ended up going ahead and doing it. It was,
mm,
another 20 years before I fulfilled my first solo project and what I call my whole voice. So,
mm,
um, yeah, that is a reclamation of I am going to be me. I am, I have shame is letting that go,
mm,
and all the energies that have kind of I feel like they were foisted upon me as they're
mm,
foisted upon all of us of what we should be like. I am not only letting those go because
mm.
that's sometimes we know we need to let things go, but I
Yeah,
also think we need to fill in with something too. We need to create.
correct.
We need to create something, right?
Mm, mm,
In order to fully be able to reclaim and let go of things that are not healthy for us. So yeah,
mm,
that's what my music. That's what my solo music is about reclaiming all these parts of myself that I'd kind of outsourced into
mm.
different areas of, like disconnections or masking or something like
Mhm.
that. Yeah. So that's
Yeah, these things, I think they're an important distinction. The masking is not a failure. I
right.
think between your adolescence and 30s, I think it was suppression.
Hmm.
I felt that a lot, but I rebelled against it a lot too.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the antidote to this. You speak a lot about play. I love you. I love hearing you speak about play. You tell
Yes.
us to stop thinking of play as an indulgence, but instead treat it like a medicine. So,
Yeah.
how do we use the energy of play to bring joy back into our lives and our work and our business? And how can women give themselves permission to access that play again without feeling guilty?
Yeah. Well, in a real practical way, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I hit upon last spring, and my whole programming has shifted a lot because of it, and my whole life, and the lives of my clients have shifted because of it too. Because if we, in a very practical way, just decide on like, well, could I 3 times a day, this is the prescription, 3 times a
Mm-hmm.
day, add a few microdoses of play to my day, what would that do? Right. I thought that last spring and started to experiment with it and created a program to experiment with it with my clients as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how much it does.
It is. Yeah.
The joy building, the momentum that it starts for joy, it's the quickest
Mm-hmm.
intro to joy. So that plus creativity is power, power, power. So what is play though? And that's the big question, right? What is play? It's another thing that we've been learning is it's different for each of us. Something that I might find playful, like shower gargling, is one of my favorite micro.
Shower gargling.
Like
You
putting
gargle
water
water in the shower.
and sing at the same time. Like that kind of thing. you know, that's probably my single favorite microdose of play. And but some people might absolutely hate doing that, right? So that's not their play. Maybe they would rather go out and like I don't know, make a snowman, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking out at the
Yeah.
snow right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we do need to learn about what Stuart Brown of the National Institute of Play calls play preferences, right? And once we kind of like
Mm,
become aware of those things, we can build out moments of play, even tiny moments. A microdose of play takes 5 minutes or less.
mm,
It can take 10 seconds. Um,
mm,
and what it does is if it has the hallmarks of being freely chosen and enjoyable to us and being about the process or the doing of it as opposed to like any kind of goal. There's a few other things, but it also can take us out of a sense of time, right? We can feel like time is stretched or like the moment will last forever. That's another hallmark of
mm,
really immersed play.
mm.
We find what does that for us. We can build those things consciously into our day, like literally put an alarm in our phone about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? I do. I have reminders for just about everything. Yes.
Yeah, and that has become for me and several of my clients the foundation on which to build uh,
Mm,
joy, on which to build a palpable, um, really flowing kind of joy, where then you end up finding other moments throughout each day that just naturally happen to play and to integrate play into your work and to build your like most of us go on vacation and stuff like that sometimes too, but to make that even more enjoyable, it ends up
mm,
basically we're calling it medicine in a funny way too. Also, I think of it as like it ends up infecting our lives,
mm.
sort of
It
like
does.
probiotics or something, right?
Yes. It totally adds the microbes back into your body.
Yes,
You
yes.
know what my favorite ways of playing are?
Hmm.
When I have to get up and stretch, I don't make it a boring stretch, do that, do this. I get up and I sing something really loudly, as long as my husband is not listening on a podcast or something. I
Hmm.
start singing loudly for about a few seconds, and then I stomp around and I dance. And then I go to my bedroom where my dog is normally sleeping on my bed, sorry. And I pounce on him and I tumble across with him, and then he goes like, "Arr, arr, arr," and then I go, "Arr, arr, arr," and that is our play.
Yes, I love it. I love it. That you mentioning your dog reminds me of one of my clients too, who plays a lot with her dog. And
Mm,
that was sort of the springboard as well into like other things. She recently came up with a new list of microdoses of play for herself. And
mm,
part of her play in coming up with the list was to name the things. Like so linguistic play is a good one for a lot of people, was to
mhm,
name the things. And one of my favorites out of that was called the Spice Cabinet Sniff Tour. So you take just, a few
mm,
moments, go to your spice cabinet, right?
mm. I worked at a vitamin store for a year and they had loose curry leaf,
Uh-huh.
bulk curry leaf.
Yep.
I was
Mm.
addicted to sniffing it. Not
Mm-hmm.
clinical addiction, but made me so happy.
Yep.
I know what exactly that means.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, Jenny. Inhale, exhale. This conversation felt like a fresh breath.
Mm-hmm.
Minty cool too. And for me, it's a reinforcement of what I already believe in. So that creativity is not something we have to earn, it's something that we create spontaneously and we remember and make it a habit, right?
Yeah.
So, you guys, if this spoke to you, go connect with Jenny. Her links are right below. Before we go, let's ask her if she has a free gift. Do you have something for my audience, Jenny?
I do, and I've switched up what I thought I was going to share because we've
Okay.
talked about play so much today. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have an everyday play. That's my new system. It's under trademark application right now. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, so it's a my everyday play toolkit, which keeps getting added to all the time. So once you get it for free,
Mm,
you'll get more. You'll get more stuff
mm,
get added to
mm,
it all the time. So and it's very joyful. It shows you ways to like learn about your own preferences, and yeah, it gets you started on getting these energies going in your life and experimenting with them and seeing that how far they take you in building your joy. So
lovely.
it's really great. I have, again, my clients have been using the things that are in it, the elements that are in it for at least since June now, and
Nice.
the transformations are amazing. Like one client who was sort of staring down the barrel of a big physical move, like from one house to another with a lot of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
was before it was like, oh, I got to move, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the summer, she's like, "Oh, I'm creating my transition." Like that's how she was defining her move by the end of the summer after using all these energies. So
Yeah.
it's a great,
Shifting perspectives.
yes, yeah,
And it's proven successful. So, you guys explore Jenny's work, okay? Join her community. The link is in the chat. And give yourself permission to say yes to your creative self again. You are going to be really thankful. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next episode of Teach Me Something. Every conversation here is about reclaiming parts of yourself that makes you feel more alive or helps your business or helps your life in some other way. Every episode is powerful. Everybody has something really profound to add. I'll see you in the next one.